That tandem press brake I sold is making airboat. To see their product that they're pumping out with it, that's pretty cool, man. They're putting Camaro, Corvette engines on these airboats, and it's really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Welcome to Manufacturing Runs the World, the podcast that breaks down the industry you never think about but can't live without.
Thanks for jumping on, man. I appreciate
Yeah.
it. We can just talk about your role at Wysong and what you do there, what Wysong's about.
I was pulling maybe $29,000 a year as a cop in North Carolina at the time. I really need to be able to support my family. So I flew out to Texas through this connection, and I started in metal fabrication sales, which fast forward got me at Piranha. So I was with Piranha 2016 to 2020. Ace was doing all the dealer distribution network in North America for Piranha. Previous owners of Piranha, Rob Green and JP Claxton, they kind of took me under their wing as more of a business perspective. Here are these reports, here's profit loss, and they started showing me more of like a management perspective of sales and organization. And I'm super grateful for that. They taught me so much. 2022 comes around, start my MBA, and I fell into marketing with Wysong. So that's how I came over here. I reached out to somebody over at MVD and was like, hey, I'm looking to get back into metal fabrication. And they said, well, we build our machines for a company called Wysong. So he set me up. So that's kind of how I fell into it. And I did marketing for 6 months, and then I fell back into sales. It's just one of those things, like, you have the connections in the industry. People start asking you, once a year at Wysong, can you help me out? In July, I transitioned into a sales role as a senior account manager. And I still kept doing the marketing. So now I'm doing marketing, and I'm doing account management, and I'm doing the dealer network. So I'm kind of doing a lot of things right now, but
Job security right there.
It is. And we're at such like a big growth space at Wysong that it allows me to do that. And it is a lot of fun.
But what do you think attributes to the big growth space currently?
Well, so last year, the company grew 55%.
Holy cow.
Yes. So, and it really was kind of a down year in metal manufacturing. So any election year is a rough year for sales, right? So customers are unsure what's going to happen, who's going to be in office, what policies are going to come in place in the next year. So they're a little hesitant. But how we kind of set ourselves apart was these custom build machines, right? So it was a tandem press brake at 28 feet. They need 400 tons and extending the throat 30 inches. It was these specialty machines that we found our niche was building a machine for the customer. Instead of saying, hey, Mr. Customer, this is what I have. We honed in on that, and we really set ourselves apart from other manufacturers at that point, because a lot of manufacturers mass produce. We are still a small company. We're fourth generation family owned. There's maybe 50 employees at this company. We've been doing this for a long time, but we will build a machine for you and give you what you need instead of giving you what we have. So that really helped us grow last year, and we've carried that into this year. Obviously, with the election results, manufacturers are feeling really good. So the first 2 months of this year have been really solid for us. We've grown a lot. We have a lot of really good installs going in over the next few months that are really key and strategic. So it's been great.
Yeah. And then obviously, I mean, the precision of some of your machines and the cuts they make, that has to play well into kind of the automation boom happening, right? Because I just met with a gentleman from Clues Robot, and they do robot welding. But obviously, some of those parts, unless those pieces are cut to spec, the robot's not going to be able to weld it properly. So does that also, do you think, part of the boom is this growth in automation?
Yes and no. I think a lot of it, when you talk about like Industry 4.0, these guys who are doing the manual welding, which is, it is an art, it is an absolute skill to be able to weld that well. They are few and far in between now. So as our generation, I'm 37, but as our generation is really taking over in fabrication, how do you make it as easy as possible and as profitable as possible for your shop? And a lot of that is to come into the new age. You're taking out a lot of guesswork. And that is what we are conveying to people, is you have to take out the guesswork for your employees. And if you can do that, you get more quality parts, you get parts faster, which cuts down on your man hours. And it really is. It's less training. I mean, with the older machines, or especially welders, that takes a lot of man hours to be able to train somebody. So now you're taking maybe one of your best welders off of the line and having him teach the new guy, which I'm all for 100%, but not all companies can afford that. So that's when you get into the automation. How can we cut that out to where maybe you have a robot doing it and you still need that manual welder. Now that robot is picking up for his time because he's teaching the new guy. So it's finding this balance. I'm not one of those people that like automation should take over everything. I still think there's a lot of things that, especially when you talk about welding or fabrication, the robot will never be able to do. The robot's never going to have the ingenuity and ideas and be able to build this absolute masterpiece that is in somebody's brain, right?
Yeah. That skilled welder, he's always going to have a position, right? Have him do the custom skilled welding, but the repeatable tasks.
And that's where robots typically don't call out sick. Typically they run. And some people are scared of the automation stuff, but you have to think, when you automate something, you're bringing in a high skill employee to be able to run those.
Yep.
So it opens up the workforce as well. Automation doesn't necessarily take jobs. You're providing more jobs for people who are very intelligent. And then you have to think about like the maintenance of it. So now you may be hiring an engineer that all he does is maintenance on these robots and automation systems. So it opens up a lot. Automation is not a bad thing.
Agreed. So obviously on the manufactured side, I think one of the cooler things is when you get to work with a big company and you say, oh, my product is in that airplane or that car.
Yep.
What are some of the cooler pieces that Wysong helps build?
Goodness. Like I said, Wysong's been around since early 1900s, and they really started building their first metal fabrication equipment in the late 1930s, early 1940s for World War II. And the Wysong shears and Wysong press brakes have been around so long that Boeing uses it, Lockheed Martin, GE. We have really cool pictures of old GE plants with wood floors, and it's just rows of Wysong shears.
Yeah. So
you could almost say that there's so many different things that a Wysong machine has made that is really cool. My personal is that tandem press brake I sold to a company down in Florida is making airboats, and they are the #1 airboat manufacturer in the United States. And to see their product that they're pumping out with it, that's pretty cool, man. They're putting Camaro Corvette engines on these airboats, and it's really cool stuff. Yeah. So it is wild, but I'm sure there are battleships out there that had a Wysong shear, cut the material or bend the material. Probably a good bit of AC units for commercial buildings probably were cut and formed with a Wysong shear at some point.
I wonder if it's Modine HVAC used to be a client of mine. I wonder if you guys are in that industry.
It's possible. Last number I heard was there was about 44,000 Wysong machines in North America.
Wow.
So there's a good chance that it's in almost, I'd probably say more than 50% of the fabrication shops.
Yeah, and then are you personally responsible for putting these machines into shops and like dealer partnerships, or how does your role move product?
So it's a little both of those. So I'm supposed to cover the Southeast, and we do a lot through the dealer network. We have really good dealer network on the East Coast. On the West Coast, it is so spread out that there are so few dealers, right? So in my area, you could throw a rock and you could probably hit a metal fabrication dealer. Out West, we're starting to find some good dealers out there. But for the most part, I have to go out West and call on customers and get into shops and find these opportunities. So it really is, it's a good 50% mix of direct sales and working with the dealers. If I had it my way, I would sit here at home and never travel and only work through the dealer network. Yeah. But it's just not a reality, right? I want to be able to grow the company.
You mentioned you have a small team. Are you like one of 5 on the sales team?
Actually, yeah, one of 5 right now.
Okay. Cool.
Yep. One of 5 outside. I am my boss. And then we have a couple others throughout the country. And then we have some inside sales staff that really focus on calling current customers, prior customers, and getting service, parts, and things along those lines. And if they happen to come across a machine, they'll throw it out to us as well.
What is your biggest obstacle? I mean, obviously, okay, you grew 55% last year. So how do you top that? Like, what is the goal this year? You're going to, let's do 55% again.
Yeah, I mean, 55% would be great. I think our biggest obstacle right now is, you're a marketing guy, so you know about the brand awareness triangle, right? When I came on, we really had no marketing whatsoever. So I was able to at least get that brand awareness back out there. And people said, we didn't know you guys were making press brakes again. We didn't know you guys were making lasers. We didn't know you did deburring machines and CNC folders. We always knew about shears, but we didn't know about all this other stuff. And now we are at the point where we're starting to get brand recall, right? So now people are saying, I really need a press brake. Wysong. Let me just hit them up and see what they have to offer. And we're starting to get more of that to come back, and that's really helping. But at the same time, we're still really working on that brand awareness. We are, we have different of these marketing triangles and press brakes and shears. We have the brand recall. To answer your question in long form, that is one of our biggest hurdles, is to get that brand recall consistently. People know the Wysong name, but they don't necessarily know what we are carrying in 2025. We had 0 followers on LinkedIn. We didn't have Facebook, didn't have Instagram, didn't have TikTok, didn't have YouTube. So we were up to a little over 3,100 followers on LinkedIn in a year, almost 1,000 followers on Facebook, 2.5 thousand on Instagram, like 60 followers on YouTube. But our TikTok
can be powerful.
It is, we get a lot of views, not so many subscribes, a lot of views, that's why I don't care about subscribers on LinkedIn, or excuse me, on YouTube so much. I care about the views.
Right.
And they're getting views, which is really great. But our TikTok, surprisingly, is almost at 28,000 followers.
Wow.
Yeah. So our TikTok is just, it's taking off.
TikTok.
I am. Yeah.
What are you doing?
So when I was thinking out this marketing plan, it was trying to do like kind of a multifaceted approach. LinkedIn is more for your owners, executive, C-suite. Facebook is more of, everybody kind of has a Facebook, Instagram, but TikTok is more for the younger generation. These are the guys that are going to be your laborers, your fabricators, your guys on the shop floor. So when I was thinking this out, I was like, man, if I was 20 years old, what would I be on more? Man, I'd be doom scrolling TikTok.
Yep.
TikTok's a little less targeted. At Facebook, I can really target it on the United States. Instagram, LinkedIn, same thing. TikTok is a little more, it's very broad. So we do have a lot of followers from overseas that we will never sell equipment to. But our bulk, if you really look at there's at least 16,000 that are here in the US, which is really good.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, so we consistently post, and every posting it's tailored differently. I'm not going to post the funny stuff on TikTok, on LinkedIn. I'm not going to put some of what I would think would be kind of boring, ho-hum, professional stuff on TikTok. YouTube is really more professional, except for the shorts, so you can have more fun with the shorts. But it is, how can I target as many people as possible without just like throwing a net out to try to catch everybody, right? I want 4 different nets because I want 4 different audiences.
This company has to love you because you do the job of like 6 people, it sounds like.
Yeah.
You're
a fair assessment. Yeah. Fair assessment. So no, everything you see on any of the Wysong pages, I do. I personally, I get like addicted to like working.
If you could wave a magic wand and fix one thing at Wysong, what would it be?
Oh man, see, you're gonna get me fired now. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. Gosh, one thing. It's like, that's tough because we really do have a good group at Wysong, and we have really good leadership. I could wave one thing. Honestly, it would just be that brand awareness. I would just fix it. Boom. Wave a magic wand, and everybody remembers Wysong for not what we did, but what we are now. You know, we are a very different company than we were even 10 years ago. So, I mean, if I could wave the wand to fix one thing, that would probably be it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Like Avengers style. Just snap fingers.
Yeah. Like Tony Stark, man, taking that glove and just snapping everything back. That'd be awesome.
Well, Jeff, I appreciate the time.
I appreciate it. Man, thank you for having me on.
Have a good one.
All right. You too.